Hey guys, this is RBR short from 13, aka Ryan, and today I'm doing a video basically celebrating that it's been officially 40 years since the original Nightmare on Elm Street came out. I have something back here. I got this. I got this from Spirits during Halloween time. I saw it there and I had to get it. Um, I wish I would have had this when I was filming Rise of Elm Street, which is my Nightmare on Elm Street fan film that's coming out in April of next year. I start editing that movie next month. I'm getting new Ghostface done this month, and it's going really well. But yeah, it even gives the release. It shows the release date of the movie on here, November 16th, 1984. And here we are now today, November 16th, 2024. To me, it's one of the biggest celebrations. I went to a screening of the original Nightmare on Elm Street this year, back in September. It was August, September. And if I do any reshoots for the movie, this is definitely being used. Um, but yeah, I just thought it was cool when I saw it at Spirits, so I wanted to get that. I plan to get more Nightmare on Elm Street merch in the future and stuff. I have so much Ghostface merch, Halloween, mainly Ghostface and Scream stuff. A little bit of Friday the 13th, and all that, but not a lot of Nightmare. Um, Wanted to show I'm still waiting on my 4K Blu-ray Steelbook. Um, it's still coming in the mail. I'm getting that soon. Once I do, I'm gonna do an unboxing video of it. I'm very excited. Um, because it's first time ever a Nightmare on Elm Street movie in 4K. I'm so used to this set right here for many years, which has all the Nightmare films in one, two, three, four. Well, I'm sure a lot of people own this one. But what I hope that Warner Brothers gives us, like in a year, or 2 years, is a full 4K set every Nightmare movie. I don't know about Freddy vs. Jason. I hope that they include Freddy vs. Jason with a Nightmare 4K box set. Why not? Because um, um, I don't know. I just hope that they do. I really want to see Freddy vs. Jason in 4K. Uh, that was, in terms of like growing up, that was the only experience I got to have as a kid of like any new Friday 13th or Nightmare movie from, with Robert Englund in it, or that original Jason before they did the remakes. So that's why Freddy vs. Jason is such a great memory, because that was like the last horror film that was, with that style, before we entered 2000s horror, which was, different kinds of horror movies. Um, and it wasn't until the Terrifier movies where we got, the Nightmare films back, and sort of Friday 13th with the body count and all that. Um, but yeah, hopefully we get a Nightmare on Elm Street movie in the future. Hopefully Robert Englund comes back one more time. I know he's done, but you know, people would prefer him coming back still than a recast of an actor. I'm open-minded to a new actor because I've already accepted there will never be another Robert Englund ever again, like ever. You know, uh, he is, so in a way you could say he is the best slasher ever because no other actor could surpass him. Um, uh, Yeah, because with Michael Myers, he wears a mask, and you get the right stunt actor, and you can make it work. With Jason Voorhees, you get the right stunt actor, you can make it work. Ghostface, many characters, but when it comes to Freddy Krueger, only Robert Englund has been able to really bring this character to life, and so, and we've seen them try with the remake, and it's just not the same. Also, it was just how they treated Freddy in that remake as well. You know, I wouldn't necessarily blame the actor 100%, as more so the studio, the writers. Um, so, but hopefully we get a Nightmare film. You know, I would love to get Nightmare movies, Friday 13th movies. You know, we've had these Halloween films, and I love it. And we've had Scream. You know, but it's time for Nightmare to come back. It's time for Friday 13th to come back. So I'm celebrating 40 years of Nightmare on Elm Street. I wish I could show you guys my 4K Blu-ray. It just hasn't got it got delayed from with shipping. So this right here is an envelope, a script that I used when I was directing uh, Rise of Elm Street this year. Um, I wanted to get Rise of Elm Street out this year, my fan film, but since I filmed New Ghostface back in fall, and I had surgery in December, and I had to recover early in the year. By the time that I went, I filmed that movie, wrote it, and everything. I didn't get it all done until the end of June, and then went on vacation with my family after. So I didn't really have the time because I wanted to make two fan films in a short amount of time. I wanted to um, uh, get Rise of Elm Street done and do it right. So I didn't start editing New Ghostface really in terms of like editing until the end of July, and I've been editing it since then. But Rise of Elm Street, it's soon. Editing the movie. I'm very excited. But oh, upside down. I just wanted to show you guys like a little bit of how the script looked. So like, let's say Michael Gary, who played Freddy Krueger in the movie, I highlighted his lines like red. So anytime he appears in the scenes, he has dialogue of red. So like my blue envelope is like highlighted in like blue. Um, so um, don't want to spoil these scenes really, but I have like the whole script in this thing. Now it's no longer the Rise of Elm Street. It's oh, let's see if I can do this right. Okay, all right, we're getting rid of the. Okay, Rise of Elm Street. That's what it is. Oh, I'm trying to get a better angle. All right, Rise of Elm Street. Yeah, no just Rise of Elm Street. Oh, that was originally what I called it though when I was filming the movie and when I was writing the script. So yeah, it's a long script, but it was a lot of fun to write. I had a lot of fun. I filmed that movie at the end of March. I started filming it at the end of March in Chicago, and then finished it out here in PA throughout June. So that was a lot of fun. I can't wait for you guys to see that. And it's a big part of it is I always wanted to make that movie. I just couldn't because of makeup effects and all that, and getting the right actor to play Freddy Krueger. So it was a big deal when Michael Gary agreed to play Freddy Krueger because he did such a great impression of him when I was growing up. He went to a Halloween party as Freddy once, and he won Best Costume. So all that is super cool. His impressions are just like so good. So I asked him, "Hey, you just got this whole costume of Freddy Krueger, where you have literally the glove, the hat, the like everything, and he had the exact replica mask of Nightmare 4, the Dream Master. Like it looked exactly the same. It was just absolutely incredible how it looked. And once I saw that, and like he had the fake teeth, and like just like how real everything looked, I said, "Hey, we always wanted to make this movie, but we never, had the equipment for it, you know. So, do you want to do it now? We'll make, now or never. I'm 20. Oh, at the time I was like, I'm 28, you know. and I wanted to make it back when I was like 14. Like, let's go ahead and make it. So we did. Flew out there, filmed it, and then came back and filmed the rest of the movie with the other actors. And now all there is left is the editing process, and that will begin in December and will end in April. And it'll be coming out in April. So a teaser trailer will be coming out for that in January. And then its final trailer will probably be in March. So it's all looking good. It's very exciting. But yeah, happy 40 years, guys, of A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a big deal. You know, Freddy Krueger he's an icon, and you know, Michael Myers is my personal favorite because of just nostalgia I have. I grew up in the Midwest. It's Halloween. And then Ghostface is up there. Michael Myers and Ghostface. It's just is what it is. But Freddy Krueger is definitely after them. I would put Art the Clown is up there now. Uh, and definitely Chucky. Uh, you know, the main icons. Um, uh, I mean, there's many great horror villains and slashers, but those would be like my favorites. I mean, there's Leatherface and Pinhead and you know so many other slashers. It's just those are my favorite. But yeah, Robert Englund, a legend. Heather Langenkamp, a legend. Nancy is uh, definitely in my top three favorite Final Girls. Um, or more so like top five. Um, uh, it's easy to put Laurie Strode at number one. I honestly though, in terms of story, in terms of like the story, I would say Sydney is the best Final Girl, my opinion. And that's a huge legacy Wes Craven left behind was giving us the best Final Girl ever. I mean, he gave us Nancy and then Sydney, and both are iconic. But Nev Campbell Sydney is so relatable to so many people. People that go through trauma, go through horrific things, you know, with family and friends, and you can connect with Sydney in many different ways that you just can't with other characters, other Final Girls. She just is the most relatable, honestly, of all of them. So I think Sydney deserves the number one of Final Girl. Um, Laurie is a strong number two, and then Nancy would be probably three. Um, Sienna from the Terrifier movies, probably put her at four. Um, and then I don't know. I think for nostalgia, probably like Alice from the original Friday the 13th, or Jenny from Friday the 13th Part Two. I put them there. Um, uh, but there's so many, so it's tough. But yeah. Um, I remember seeing A Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a kid on DVD for the first time. I was like 8 years old. Um, and I remember I loved it. I Freddy versus Jason was the first one I watched, and then the original Nightmare, and then New Nightmare. I didn't watch Nightmare 2 till about a few years later. Um, and then I remember renting. My dad taking me to rent Dream Master. I remember that. Um, I remember renting Nightmare 5 on VHS. So I don't know if that was the uncut version, but yeah, I remember my first viewing experience of Nightmare 5 was on VHS. Um, so that was cool. And then Freddy's Dead, I remember that on HBO. That was one of the last ones I watched. Um, the last Nightmare movie that I watched of the originals was actually Dream Warriors. That was the last one. I didn't watch Dream Warriors till I was like 13. And then I was like, oh my God, why did I wait, you know, for this? I sort of saved the best for last because when I first saw Dream Warriors, I that became my favorite one. But as time has gone on, the first two are mainly my favorite because how scary Freddy is in the first two. I like how scary I like s dark Freddy, scary Freddy over, comedic, but, I do like Freddy Krueger in Dream Master, though. Um, they went too far by Freddy's Dead, but Dream Master, Robert Englund just did a great acting job as Freddy. Like, even though it was cheesy the way it was written, he just you could tell how much he evolved as an actor by that point, how much he learned as an actor, and how much into it he wasn't in the role by that point. You could just really see that he just knew the character by then. So Dream Master is up there for me, um, which is debate that's it can be controversial liking Dream Master more than Dream Warriors, but I just feel like Dream Warriors should have been more serious and darker, like the first two, because had it have been as dark and serious as the first two movies, you could literally treat that as a trilogy. But because the third one sets up this camp factor, it sets up the fourth one, it sets up the fifth one, so it's not like you can separate it. And that's my only complaint about Dream Warriors is it wasn't dark enough, personally. Um, but yeah, it's a great franchise. I remember seeing the remake as a kid and wasn't a big fan of that, but it was cool seeing anything Nightmare on the big screen. Seeing the screening of the original was definitely one of my favorite experiences. Seeing a movie that was so much fun, and if they do any, if I have a chance to see any other screenings of other Nightmare films, I'm going to see them. I love the Nightmare films, and I hope that we get a return of that franchise because those characters are great. Nancy, Freddy, Alice, um, Kristen. You have many iconic characters in that franchise that you don't forget. Um, and it's got the most story out of like Friday 13th, Halloween. Like you get a lot of not only you have the slasher element, but you have a supernatural element to it. But also you get a lot of development with the characters. It's not just a mass killer going from person to person slaughtering them. You really get this smart, clever, creative uh, uh, story that makes you think and is about dreams. And I don't. It's just so cool. If you love movies like Inception, you love dream stuff, but you also love slasher movies and a little bit of supernatural. It's Nightmares is perfect. So yeah, definitely in my top five favorite horror movie franchises, and this is definitely a day to remember. I went to the Nightmare House when I went to H45 convention in 2023 last year when I went on the bus tour. They took me to all these locations where they filmed like Terminator, Liar Liar, Thriller, Halloween, um, The Fog, so many filming locations that I got to go to, and but what stood out the most was the Nightmare house. I mean, Glenn's house and then Nancy's house from the original was the most exciting part of it because it looks the same, feels the same. You feel like you're in the movie. It feels like a set. It doesn't even feel real. It doesn't even feel like that's what it felt like. So many locations I went to, just it was out of body experience. It didn't feel real. Felt like I was in a scene in the movie or something. But that was super super cool. I got shots of it too, and those shots will be in my movie Rise of Elm Street. And yeah, so let's all continue on celebrating Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, 40 years. It's a great franchise, and there's a lot of potential. And maybe some things will have to be rewritten, for new audience, today's audience, but it's all possible. So, all right, guys, thank you guys for watching my video celebrating 40 years of Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'll talk to y'all very soon. All right, peace.